Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel, and in this video we are going to talk about a very old node in the geometry node family. It's called fail curve. So this node is very powerful, but very people don't know the way to use this node. It got very confused because whenever they try to fail curve, everything is being squished to be a plan. So this video, let's go find a way to fix that. And then you can make something like this. You can draw any shape in the air. I make a more complete version, have extra function that you can have some kind of like a thickness control or like a bevel control. Or you can turn it to be a volume. So this node will be put on my Patreon and my Gumroad. You can go download this. But first, let's go check how do we use this fail curve node properly. So now let's talk about how do we use this fail curve node. So there's basically two ways to use this node. First way is just writing the text using this string to curve node. This is just an object that put on the geometry node. First, that's using this string to curve node. Now you get this string and with your text. So you can write anything. And then let's use this fail curve node. So you get this text that you write. And then we can use a transform geometry to rotate it. Okay, so now we can see it on the camera. Okay, so this is a very simple way to use this fail curve node. And then let's talk about how do we draw a curve using this fail curve node to make it to be like a mesh. So now let's try to draw something. So let's create a curve and let's draw it on the top first. Okay, now and bring this bezel curve into the geometry node. We'll just plug it to here and then use a fail curve. So you will see this heart shape as a mesh, but that is when we draw it from the top. What if we draw it from with some angle? You will see some problem. So now let's try to draw something with some angle. So now you see this heart shape. It looks very weird. If we look on the top, it looks fine. But if we look with some angle, you will notice it's just like this heart being squished into like a plane, very flat. So the z is all goes to 0. So that is the problem of this node. A lot of people get confused about this. So let me show you the way to fix this. Actually, it's quite simple. If we see on the side, it is kind of means everything, the z-axis is all being offset to the 0, right? So what we are going to do is quite simple. Just bring all the vertex, the z-axis to the correct position. That's what we're going to do. Let's use a set position and use a sample index and use a position and also the index. So set this to be vector and plug the position, also the index. So you will run through all the index, not just the index 0. Okay, and using this curve as the source, and also click on this clamp. Okay, so now let's use a combine XYZ and also separate XYZ. And plug this to the offset. Okay, so now we do bring all the z to the right position, right? But it do have some little problem and we will try to fix that later. Let me just show you there's actually an even simpler way. Instead of just fixing the z, we can just actually just replace the whole position of the vertex. So if we just plug this to here, it will be correct. So that's the most simple way. I'm just showing you this just to give you some logic. That is how it happened. Okay, so just using this position. So you will see some problem like this, or sometimes if you don't click on the clamp, happen like this. The reason for that is we have to be a little bit concerned about the curve that we draw. It's best that we don't have this kind of messy drawing that intersect with each other. It might sometimes cause some problems, so we just delete that. So we can try to draw more. Again, if you draw it like this, you will have some problems, so we want to fix that later. Okay, so now we do have quite a lot of problem. That's because all this part is not drawn properly. So now we do fix all our heart shape with no intersect. However, we do still have some problem. Why is that? The reason that is because this fill curve treating all this individual spine as one curve, but actually we want it to be like a separate. So we need to give a group ID. The group ID is just basically we just plug this index to here. Okay, so now we fix all that. So remember to use this index. So now we can draw all the hearts separately. Okay, so that seems pretty nice. You can delete this and try something else. Again, let's try to draw on the top again. And now if we try to draw something inside, what I want is to cut out of this heart, but it didn't do that. It become like an individual curve. So if you want to cut it out, you just don't plug this group ID. You can get a cut out of this. Okay, so that is something about this group ID, but of course it has to be in the same position, like a 0 in the z-axis. Now we can give some thickness, so we just using an extrude mesh, join geometry, and put it over here. Use merge by distance. And let's try to see the face orientation. Click the face. Okay, but there's some problem. Click on this to let it fix. So it might fix some of your problem. Okay, so now you do have your heart shape with some thickness. So now let's try to set the material. And maybe we can set smooth. So just using this set shade smooth, and you get something like this. But what I want is, I just want this edge, the side, to be smooth. So I just plug this, the extrude mesh, the side to here, the selection. Okay, so now I got this. So that is how you using this sample index and set position to correct your fail curve. So now you can draw whatever stuff and using the extrude mesh to give a thickness. So now you know the proper way to use the fail curve node. And after that, you can make some extra functions such as the thickness, or maybe you can make some bevel or make some like the smoothness of the edge. So that's why I make a note with all that, and you can download this in my Patreon or Gumroad. So now I'm going to show you how do you use this node and what's the function of this node. Drop this CTP. So the CTP stand for curve to plane. It comes with a curve and also a object that contain the node. So let's make them in the group. Let's check this curve. So the curve, just any regular curve that you make. Okay, so now maybe we can draw something. Now let's go check on what the node do. So the first is curve input. So you just pick any curve. The second one is the using index. So as I said, if you are not using index, you can cut the hole within the plane, but sometimes it will give you some bugs if you draw multiple curves. Sometimes you need to click on this, but it will not make any hole. You use this when you need it. And now let's give some thickness. So now you do have some thickness. So this is a bevel height. So you will see, you will extend another layer. There's two types of bevel. One is type A. And sometimes you might see some weird bug, and we can fix that later. So that is the bevel, and you will see in the it use different shader. You can make them using the same shader. That's the bevel A. It will come with more evenness of the width of the bevel. Bevel 2. So it do function a little bit different. You can pick whatever you want to use. And this is extrude curve. Just use this in the very small number. You can extend your mesh so it looks thicker or thinner. But usually just don't use it too much because it will intersect your mesh. Okay, so now there's some problem about this. That's it because of the sample rate. So we need to tweak a little bit about this sample rate. Okay, so make it to have the good sample, draw the proper shade, or you can like smooth the curve, because the curve, especially on this one, that draw it in the poly mode. This is drawn by the poly, and this is drawn by the bezier curve. So the poly curve, you will get so many points and a lot of this juggling, and so we need to smooth it out a little bit, so make it smoother. Also use this smooth, it will fix this problem. And also the sample rate can give you very different result of your text. You can make it like a low poly, but again, if it got too many sample, you will run into some problems. So just find some reasonable number. Okay, and this is the smooth curve, and this is smooth mesh. Let's tweak this. It also like a smooth function. Try to use these two to give us some smoothness. So now this text looks pretty nice. Okay, that is the material. So you can pick any material that you wish. You can give us same material for your bevel. And this is the shade smooth. Okay, so now it's not shade smooth, and now it's shade smooth. And also different smooth mode, especially for the bevel. So now it looks rounded, okay, and now it looks sharp. Okay, now that's most of the function. The rest of these two is turn your plant into a soft body. It's actually just kind of make it like a volume and like a balloon. So there's two type of soft body. The first one is called triangle. So it make all your mesh to become like a triangulate. And let's turn off this and turn on this. This is a volume. It's a little bit different. So this is the volume become like a soft body. So this is a little bit more rounded, and this is sharper. Tweak this to give a different result. So now let's try to draw something more. So now if I draw it on top of this, it will looks weird. So in this case, we might need to use index. Okay, so now it looks fine. But again, if you use this, you will lose the function to cut hole. So just to remind you that. We know we can draw something. What if I just want to type some text instead of drawing? So we can do that as well. So maybe we can hide this. Be able to do that. That's just make another object, text curve. Within this object, create a geometry node, and we need to create a string to curve. And we just type something. And now let's try to use this as the curve. Yeah, you see, so we just need to do this, and we got this one. And let's try to cut a hole because there's like O, right? And let's try to rotate this. Transform geometry. So you see, if we turn this totally to be 90 degree, you will get some problem. That is because it is be totally straight. The fail curve just really don't like something being totally on the same axis. So just give a little bit lower number, you will be fine. Now you can have this very beautiful text. Yeah, so that is the curve to plan node. It's very useful if you just want to draw anything in your scene, and you can just apply it, this modifier. Now it becomes an actual mesh. Okay, and you can go scope that. Right. It's just very simple. This will be on my Patreon and my Gumroad. And there's so many previous nodes in my Patreon, and I hope you can join it and go download it and go have fun with it. And I hope you learned something from this video. We will see you next time. Bye bye.